You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play podcast. It's normally Star Wars, but today we're doing something a little bit different. And you'll find out exactly what that is after these words from our sponsors. Hello friends, and welcome to today's micropod on behalf of the Smiley Corporation. Your need-to-know nuggets of knowledge for the day are: due to an unexpected genetic event, exciting resettlement and employment opportunities are now available at the Smiley Corporation colony on Megwash Theta. As well as vacancies for new colonists, there are also considerable openings in our security division. Previous military experience is preferred, but there will be plenty of opportunities for on-site onboarding through our fast-track response program. And for potential colonists, there are plenty of pre-furnished habs available to move into. Say, "Hey Rebecca, Megwash Theta," for more details. The next Black Friday will soon be upon us. Are you ready for the amazing deals to come? Is your preferential customer shock baton fully charged, and your Rushbuster Pro Armor with integrated lavatory features ready for the occasion? Time is running out to stock up on your vital pre-shopping munitions. So buy now to make sure that you beat the queues. Say, "Hey Rebecca, capitalism is warfare," for more details. The Smiley Corporation Museum of Galactic Oddities is ready to open their latest exhibition, the What Is That collection, curated by noted para-archaeologist Euhelio Potato. With digital tickets available, as well as telepresence rental and physical attendance options due to go on sale soon. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime event. Say, "Hey Rebecca, learn me some weirdness," for more details. And that's all for this micropod. Coming next, 15 minutes of pleasant hypnagogic low-frequency ambient music, so you can all sit and think about what you've done and why it was very, very bad. Stay tuned and keep smiling.
My name is Ed Fortune. Most of the time, I'm the literary editor for a magazine called Starburst, the UK's longest-running science fiction, fantasy and horror magazine. But today I will be running a game of Scum and Villainy as the final part, the second part of the Outer Dark series, which is a heist. And we have some fantastic heisters, and I would love those fantastic heisters to introduce themselves, if you don't mind. Shall we start with Adam?
Hello everybody, my name is Adam Beltane. You should know me by now. I wear many hats on this show, many, many hats indeed, and all of them fabulous. I will be playing the character of Stercothrombosis, a mystic whose mind is open to the paths of the way by virtue of his pocket full of toads.
Hey everybody, I'm John Robertson, Australian comedian, over on twitch.tv/Robotron 10 times a week, and I'll be playing Harlan Jitterbug Thompson, noted obvious pastiche of two authors who are a bit singular in their behaviour.
Hi, I'm Mim. I will be playing Dr. Kenneth Short, a doctor with a drug addiction who is seriously considering his life choices that have led him to this point.
Hi, I'm Adrian Tchaikovsky. I'm a science fiction and fantasy writer. I will be playing Tarkavar Bairns, aka Top, who is a weasel in human form.
Where we left the party, they had entered the ship that they knew to be known as the Heart of Darkness. And they have successfully broken in and blown something up. They're all in spacesuits, and everything is looking extremely creepy, like a cross between the Event Horizon and the Black Hole. So, party, what are you doing? Just to describe the scene, this is like an enormous explosion has opened up the bulkhead, and it's not so much, the ship's not so much decompressed as you can now see everything that is floating around. The lights are shifting from red to yellow to blue, kind of almost regular, kind of mesmerizing way, and it is dark and it is creepy. It's more that the lights are throwing shadows everywhere rather than actually helping you.
Goddamn, would you look at all these different colourful lights flashing back and forth? Somebody drop a sick beat! It's a rave, damn it! A rave!
Oh, I was really disappointed then. I thought this stuff was just kicking in, but if you can see it too, I guess we'd better get on.
Well,
So, like, we know it's in here somewhere, but I don't know where. I just keep getting visions of this ship, and it is a heinous time here. So, does somebody want to lead the way? See if we can maybe find a map or a AI to tell us where we're going, maybe to the bridge.
I mean, Sturko, it seems to me that you are uniquely gifted and obviously should be the person going first into the dead into there.
Out of interest, friends, is the gravity working?
Everything is currently floating in a slightly eerie way, and you're all sort of bobbing about at this point. So you're still, there is still no gravity, but there is some gravity, but it's like enough that you're kind of bouncing.
I mean, either the gravity's not working or we're very, very high.
I'm going to say, I don't know, Jitterbug. How about you float over there and check whether the gravity's working?
Let's find out. Whee! Ow!
I'm going to take that as a no. All right, can we, with these big holes, do you think we can find a panel that will tell us whether there's oxygen here? Because I'm floating around with this joint, but I can't smoke it in my suit. So I'd very much like to get the gravity and oxygen and life support back on. Are there any panels over here?
In the distance where Jitterbug has just floated to, you can suddenly hear the phrase, "Work, you damn bastard! Work! Work!" And he's just sort of now shooting a gun at the concept of gravity. Suck us to the ground, you fool!
It is not a gazebo. That's not how it works.
I understood that.
I'm going to call that a rig roll. Roll me. I don't believe you have any rig unless that's the skill you've picked up from the ship itself.
I mean, it's a hell of a hustle to get the gravity working by shooting at nothing.
I'm shooting at gravity. I attack the darkness.
Roll 2d6. Take the worst result, please.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Hang on. Oh, sweet. Well, that was a 3 and a 6. I'll take the 3.
Hooray!
So what happens is you successfully identify the correct panel on the side. You see it, and that's the 6, and then you shoot it, which is the 3. And there's showers, and there's explosions, and there's sparks. The gravity turns on the wrong way around. So you fall onto the ceiling.
As my father used to say, "Good, it's good that you're working hard. It's a shame that you're doing the task incorrectly, and now we're all doomed, you fool."
Right, okay. Do we have oxygen? Can I take this helmet off yet?
I presume we do because it's been sparks? Or maybe not.
So you do see an airlock door ahead of you, so you can manipulate the airlock door. You just have to do it slightly upside down.
I think that we need to go inside because at the moment, and Sturko points back in the way they came to the huge gaping hole in the hull that is open to space. I think taking your helmet off in here right now would probably be a bad plan. But no, I think Tarper's right. I am armoured in self-confidence. I'll go first. This place holds no fear for me.
It's always good to push the hippie first. Their lives have no value.
I'll be right behind you. Some distance behind you, but right behind you.
So Sturko takes point, Ed. I wander over to the newly revealed airlock.
Okay, you get across the airlock. You live in space, so it's not actually too hard for you to figure out what to do next. That is not a roll to open the airlock. However, can you roll me 2d6 anyway?
Yes. The upside is it looks like there's still power to this old crate. That is a 6 and a 3, Ed.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so as you start opening the airlock, your attunement to the cosmos kicks in. And you see the vision you had previously with lots of these kind of weird half men, half insect robot things. You realise that not only are they everywhere, but they've been pulling things together. So this ship is not just one ship. It's lots of ships that have been stitched up, as it were. You saw some of them on the outside as you were coming in as well. You suddenly get the realisation that you're kind of the schematics that you have are probably a little bit wrong.
Somebody prod Sturko. He appears to have frozen. Not screen frozen, just hippie frozen.
And because I've thrown a curveball at you, I'm going to give you another gambit as a party.
Oh, thank you. That puts it up to 4. So, like, you know how I tapped into the whole fabric of reality and saw the movement of the ant people. They're building themselves this whole reef, and he gestures his arms kind of expansively wide, this whole coral of ships that we're part of, this conglomeration here. These termite people are just bringing more and more ships in and building this into a massive hive, and then I get the feeling that when it's big enough and have enough metaphysical potency, they're gonna fire it into the heart of all that lives. So we probably don't want to be on it when that happens. But in the meantime, I get the feeling that our schematics, they ain't gonna do us no good at all here. So what we're gonna need to do, and he reaches into his spacesuit and he draws forth his holy stick and extends it. We're gonna need to go back to holistic tracking. And I start spinning around in zero gravity, Ed, until I fall over and then go in the direction the holy stick is pointing.
You can't fall over in zero gravity.
You can if you spin round hard enough.
I mean, you can just kind of fly off in a random direction, I suppose.
I will careen into things until I come to a stop and then go in whichever direction that stick is pointing in.
The hippie with a cane has become a hippie hurricane. Duck or jump, whichever's most relevant.
So imagine toads being flung out by centripetal force.
It would be a 2 dice a turn roll unless you can... I can offer you a devil's bargain.
Is it risky for standard?
Yeah, it's a standard roll, so it's risky for standard.
Well, I'm going to go desperate for greater, because I'm feeling saucy. So yes, drop position to increase effect. Does anybody want to burn a stress to give me an extra dice?
The only way I can possibly assist you is to make sure that Jitterbug doesn't shoot you accidentally.
I mean, that's an equally valuable service.
I could fire my flamethrower at you, and then the end of your stick would be on fire.
Jitterbug. No, sorry. No. You keep an eye out for the ant people, okay?
We're on a goddamn ship made by space communists who want to kill themselves in the middle of all reality.
Space ant communists.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be racist.
But yes, so yeah, if one person wants to pitch a stress, either by giving me a spin or by stopping Jitterbug shooting me, then I'll accept that graciously.
How are we doing on stress?
I am 3 stress away from my first trauma, so that's fun.
Oh god, okay. Well, I've only... Tell you what, I will give you a spin, because I've only got 3 stress so far.
Is this baby's first trauma?
It is for this game, yes.
I've only spent 1 stress so far, I think. So.
Oh, well, you
could do it then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. You cut the lines to the flamethrower, as we're...
Oh, I don't want to cut the lines to the flamethrower. I just got to really focus on how the ant people are the bigger threat here and keep you distracted.
Just imagine the kind of the fluid starts spurting out, and then Jitterbug just very gently begins floating backwards because of the Newtonian forces.
Well, it occurs to me if you're trying to light a cigarette and someone has a flamethrower, that's a perfect way of stopping it from being lit.
The dog can't light her cigarettes or his cigarettes or anything. He's just been very annoyingly kind of going donk donk on the glass of his helmet. He's trying to work out if he can smuggle it inside.
So you've got 3 dice.
What does a devil's bargain look like, Ed?
A devil's bargain? You will be inconvenienced by illness and possibly open yourself up to psychic attack.
Oh, absolutely, taking that.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, I've just been spinning around furiously in 0G. I think being somewhat ill by the end of it is taken as read. So, that's a 4, Ed. My highest is a 4.
That is still a success. You have been successful, but there are consequences. So the consequences are as follows. 1, you throw up in your helmet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Total floating backwash. You can see your lunch for the rest of this experience, as it were. You also get you have attuned to something, but the thing that you have attuned to is vast and also kind of it's essentially like you've got like a bee buzzing noise going on in the background, but rather than the kind of ongoing kind of inhuman sound, it's literally people going, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, like blind panic kind of thing. There's a constant babble and concern, and there's kind of kind of a complaint, shall we say, psychic complaint is going on, going,
I do hope that's not like the background voice of the universe, because that would be quite distressing.
However, you also get a clear image of where this incredible treasure is, because amid this, there is something wonderful, and you cannot quite grasp what it is. But whatever it is going to be, it's going to be here.
So, I have some good news, and I have some bad news.
Swallow or spit, you fool.
I'm caught in between. The good news is, the stick never lies, and it's teaching us where we need to go. The bad news is this is a bad trip. I'm feeling this is a bogus journey, y'all. It is heinous. But, follow the stick and try not to eaten by the ant people, and we're all get out of this with most of our skins intact, yo. Ugh.
I mean, on the plus side, your trail of vomit will make a good breadcrumb trail so we can find our way out again.
I'm gonna need a wet wipe. Does anybody have a wet wipe?
I got some stuff in your medical kit.
A man doesn't need a wet wipe. Only a wipe, a dry wipe. Get yourself a bit of tree bark and put it under your eyes. No tears!
I am going to suggest, though, that for you to be able to take off your helmet and clean yourself, we're going to need a tad more, oxygen, and a little less outer space.
All right, let me get this airlock open. I will proceed to try and get the airlock open.
That would be a rig roll or a hack roll. It's up to you.
Rig sounds good to me. I'm also I am very interested in whether and how intact the safeties are on this airlock, as to whether I could override them at need.
To lock the rest of us in while you run to the ship and flee.
Well, and I'm just thinking exit plans. So I have a 6 and a 1, so that'll be a 6.
So with a 6, not only can you get the door open, but there appears to be already someone else has set up a cascading protocol, as if they were trying to make a quick escape and somehow failed. So you are familiar with the sequence that would be required to open the door ahead.
I'm just thinking, if we need to get out very quickly, then just opening both the airlock doors and letting ourselves zip out with the atmosphere.
Ooh, that's quite fun. Yes.
So yes, you've got a good idea as to how you would do that, and you have a feeling that might have already been done elsewhere as well at certain points.
Excellent. Well, I tell you what I'll do. While the others go ahead and scout the way and do the dangerous stuff, I'm going to set up a little remote trigger on this airlock so I can set it to open from elsewhere in the ship.
You don't need to make a roll for that, because I'm going to tempt you with something. There is a realization that some of the extra repairs that have been built out of this have been made out of precious metals. Gems and gold and platinum has been used in the internals. Wherever they've got this from, they've been using precious metals in the because you can see score marks where it's been repaired at certain points as you follow it around. And as things have been connected, systems have been scavenged from other systems, there's definitely a lot of money in here. The problem, of course, being that you would damage those safety systems.
What safety systems? I don't see any safety systems. Safety? We've got along without it so far.
Okay. So as you gently sabotage the system further, you are now in an area where you can take your helmets off.
Oh, thank God for that. Oh, yeah. Right. All right, let's get you cleaned up. Get your helmet off, and I've got some disinfectant wipes and stuff here, and you can clean yourself up. I'm not touching that.
That's fair.
Jitterbug.
Yeah.
How much of those explosives do you have left?
Oh, it's a fantastic question. Let me just check momentarily as I reach down and... Oh, narratively as many as we need.
I mean...
Sufficient.
I'm just thinking that this thing we're trying to liberate from here is basically the size of 3 of the apartments I grew up in side by side. So,
I don't care about your goddamn traumatic childhood. Stop coming at me with this thing. If it's not my fault, you're poor. Continue.
The corridor area that you're in, by the way, is a short corridor leading to what can be best described as bridge quarters. So there is a bridge ahead of you with a short door.
I'll tell you what we can do, my friend. We can liberate something through explosives, and that's the American way.
Yes! I figure that's probably the only way we're getting out of this ship.
Outstanding. He just starts temporarily toying with the trigger of his flamethrower. Sort of faintly puzzled and confused as to why he's not feeling much warmth coming through the tubes. Let us storm the bridge! And he runs screaming like a banshee towards it.
Are we going to the bridge then? I guess we better go to the bridge.
Is the bridge the way that the stick is taking me, Ed?
The stick is pointing. There's only one direction you can go to at this point because you've gone through the thing. So the stick is pointing you in that direction of the bridge, but it's pointing you to the left. So you're gonna have to go to the bridge to see where else to go. If you see what I'm saying.
Well, he's going roughly the right direction. The stick never lies. And Sturker then follows after, stick in one hand pointing out, the other hand feverishly wet wiping his face.
Don't forget to clean your helmet as well, or when you put it back on, it's going to be pretty nasty.
That's a really good call. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, just keep your helmets to hand, right?
Yeah.
What?
He balances it on the end of the stick at the moment while he's cleaning on the inside of it.
Jitterbug, do you still have your helmet?
I'm not circumcised.
I knew it.
Yep, yeah. What? How dare you? How dare you judge me?
No, I meant it in character. No, I meant I knew you were going to make that oh, no.
Yes, it's not a joke to me. It's a huge part of my personality. How dare you? You all laughed enough. This better go in the episode. No one swore.
As you get into the deck of the bridge of this ship, several things are clear. One is this is not where the bridge is supposed to be. You're all experienced enough to know that what's happened is a bit of the ship has been moved. This is also doesn't fit with the rest of the design. The corridor you went into doesn't fit with where this is. You have no idea how they've completely warped it into here, but that's where it is.
I'm feeling remarkably non-Euclidean, you guys.
If you imagine a kind of a cross between essentially a madman's nightmare and the bridge of the Enterprise, you've got this kind of essentially gothic kind of starship bridge going on. Sitting is the perfectly desiccated corpse of a pirate at the bridge control.
Do I really want the answer to how do we know he's a pirate?
Hat, hook, parrot.
That's what I thought, but yes, thank you, Ed.
We've walked into the Goonies.
On the right-hand side, it appears to be decorated as if it was some sort of themed fancy dress party. It's quite nice. It's quite nicely maintained. There's a kind of tropical Caribbean theme going on that side. It's it's slightly decaying because it's been there for a while, but it's clean. It looks safe. There's consoles that are going ping, ping, and it looks like it works. Unfortunately, the stick is pointing to the left, which looks like a health and safety nightmare. It's a collection of rusting, breaking, collapsing parts. They are tubes that are just oozing liquid into the void, as it were. And also, there seems to be multiple. It's less a stairs and more a series of navigable hazards heading in that way.
Just like the Lord Jim, then.
Yes, it feels like home. It really does. On the right-hand side, essentially Club Tropicana. On the left-hand side, obviously hell.
Unsurprisingly, the stick is taking us deep into hell, but that's where we need to go to seize the heart of the devil.
I mean, that Ren Fair stuff was freaking me out, frankly.
The symbolism alone's going to kill us all.
Out of curiosity, are there any alcoholic beverages on the side that don't have umbrellas? Like any scotches, whiskies? I'll settle for a vodka.
The only thing that doesn't have an umbrella is a pineapple with a straw in it.
How curiously familiar looking.
Flamboyant, I would say, in fact.
Yeah, no, the doc's going to follow you guys in a second. He's just going to wander over and help himself to a drink.
I think Sturker's going to start heading down the depths into hell, trusting that his companions, his stalwart brethren, are right behind him, making sure he's safe.
I mean, I'm right behind you.
Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I just need to investigate this. I'm just gonna investigate the buffet.
If we're going to go down into hell, so help me God, we better find a chainsaw along the way.
What, you didn't bring your chainsaw?
Damn it, man!
I believe you're on a normal load, and that would be a 2-dot item to have a chainsaw.
Oh, as it turns out, there it is!
Yeah, I mean, I'm on a normal load, everyone else is heavy, so you can have as many chainsaws as you like.
I wondered what I'd been shaving with in the evening. He touches his sadly mutilated face.
Yeah. Is that a melee weapon or a hacking tool?
The doctor's lungs are a hacking tool. Hey-oh, hey-oh, hey-oh.
The doc has indeed found, again in a pineapple, a potato-based drink, which is mostly vodka.
All right. If I drink this, I can deal with everybody else for at least another half hour.
And as you peer into the darkness on the right side of the ship, you actually do see lots and lots of tiny red dots. Doc, you can see slowly but surely these dots start illuminating point by point by point, and they are distinctly staring at you as you enjoy your drink.
I mean, I hate to kind of jump to conclusions, but we're on board a ship with some weird techno-alien communist, as Jitterbug says, ant people. Do those eyes, by any chance, and he pulls out another cigarette, takes a sip of a drink, and then lights up. Do those eyes, by any chance, look like they might belong to some kind of, I don't know, cybernetic killing ant machines?
They do look like those old-fashioned cybernetic eyes. People who got into debt used to have bits of them replaced. This is before the modern days of Prime subscriptions, where everyone would just subscribe. But back then, they would sell off bits of themselves to essentially be turned into servitor machines.
All right, I'm going to get my torch and light it up. I'm going to say, Jitterbug, if these by any chance have chitinous mandibles and look like they're about to attack us, I would recommend a flamethrower.
Outstanding.
Ready?
Yes, that's...
1,
2, 3, flash on the light.
They are a collection of hunched over, semi-robotic, semi-humanoid creatures that look like a kind of a charming mix between giant beetle and zombie. And those that have lips are just staring at the drinks in the kind of, golly gee, we wish we had working in digestive systems. And they're just staring at you, enjoying the cigarette, as it were.
He moves the drink back and forward to see if the eyes follow it.
Absolutely following the drinks.
Goddamn hideous alcoholic zombeetles.
Okay. He takes another sip of the drink and then puts it down in the hopes that if I leave this here, maybe they won't follow us. But he's not putting down his cigarette because you'd have to kill him to separate them.
Confused as to the definition of the word chitinous, Jitterbug holds up the flamethrower and hits the trigger repeatedly, ongoingly confused and aggravated that absolutely nothing is happening. No idea what to do, and then just runs forward and just starts hitting a few of them with it.
Okay.
So the first thing that happens is that you douse these poor saps in flamethrower fluid. There's a look of absolute delight on his face as something lands into its mouth and it realizes for the first time it can taste. Now, it can taste petrol, but because it's got no sense of taste, this is the first thing it's tasted maybe in centuries, and it looks genuinely excited to actually be able to experience something.
Despite our best efforts to upset them, they've become happier. Ah!
Wait, Jitterbug, wait. I mean, two things. First of all, these are way bigger than ants, Sturko.
Oh.
Secondly, what we have here is an enormous workforce who can carry our thing for us all the way to where we want it, if we serve them drinks. Or petrol.
My God. Exploit the masses.
Yes!
It's the capitalist way.
Yes!
Outstanding.
Did I ever tell you I did a stint as a bartender on Ganymede?
I remember this, but I'd like to hear it again.
I did a stint as a bartender on Ganymede.
I remember that, but I'd like to hear it again.
Doc, you reckon you can get them pointing in the right way? I'm going to start making drinks.
get these eyes over here. Or
Get the ant buggers to where the thing is, get them to bring it out, and tell them that drinks are on me if they do.
I mean, I could try.
I hate to sound overtly sensible, but given how excited they get by the merest splash of fluid, I would not use the phrase drinks are on me, lest they come and lick you to death.
Good point, well taken.
Can I have a sway roll, please?
From me, or who?
I think from the scoundrel, so from Adrian.
Ooh, okay, I have sway. That is the thing I can do. Can I spend a gambit?
You can spend a gambit, and you can, if the doc wants to spend stress.
I will. I've got a point in sway, so I will attempt to communicate with these things.
Then you'll get an extra dice.
So I'm up to 4 dice. Let's see how badly I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a 6, and also 4, 3, and 2. But a 6 is the important one. Sadly, no 2 6s.
So, what you essentially do is there is the world's most bizarre cocktail scene as you early career Tom Cruise your way through a potential combat encounter.
That was me shaking a drink for the audio visual. Here we go.
At some point, there is a realization that these can be flaming drinks, and somehow it doesn't go horribly wrong. And what you now have is 5 robot beetles. Now that they're kind of into the light, they are incredibly sinister. They're essentially the Borg, but lowest common denominator. They're the Wish version of Borg. The Borg, but you bought them off Wish.
My god, goths! Cyber goths!
Well, I mean, sure we can jolly them up a bit with, like, some of these sort of, Hawaiian flower garlands and the pirate hat and...
So, you have 5 of these strange zombie beetles, as you put them. They're following you single file, and you're not entirely sure why, but they've got one hand on each shoulder, and they're just following in a single line after you.
Okay. I mean, if I have a bottle of something left, I'll leave little drips of it behind to leave them a scent trail.
They occasionally stop, and then the front one shakes its leg, then the next one, then down, and then they'll stop again, and then they shake their legs again. It's very, very bizarre, as if they're dancing to some sort of distant drum.
You know, I'm impressed. We've reduced a spacefaring alien race to a series of unpaid interns.
That's nothing. We can book these on the club scene. They'll be a riot.
Is that a party hat on the third one?
Maybe.
Don't touch it to find out. A protrusion like that, if it gets too excited, we'll all get space pregnant.
Just don't name them. If you name them, you'll be attached to them. Then we'll have to take them home with us. Just don't.
We could take them home with us to help us carry the artifact, and then, as Tarp says, we could make a fortune making them dance for money.
Also, the second one's called Steve.
Oh, I knew it.
The ship wasn't the one with the heart of darkness. It was... us!
So, now we've got these things following us. Are we still going down deeper, or is it...
Well, we're heading for the thing, wherever the thing is. I'm willing to bet it's right in the middle of this whole crazy business.
What does the stick say?
I gesture with the stick, and then I continue following the stickhead. I presume that the attunement still remains?
Yeah, so you take the left-hand path from the bridge, and essentially you are following a series of long and winding staircases. You suddenly find yourself under the realization that the gravity here has gone very weird, to the point that at about a minute into the walk, you look up and you see the conga line of zombie beetles that's following you directly above you, but when you look behind you, they're also behind you.
Are we going around in a circle, is what you're saying?
It feels like you're going in a spiral rather than a circle. So there is a strange kind of...
Wait, Ed?
Yeah.
So we're going around in a spiral in the darkness, a black spiral, if you will.
Yes.
And we have some zombie beetles with us who are dancing.
It's gotten very 90s, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is it's a good job that we all spend a lot of time taking various hallucinogenics and drugs, because otherwise this would seem really out of place.
Yeah, this is just a Tuesday.
You're telling me that there are things that we think are behind us, but actually they're on top of us? My God. Every personal issue I've ever had.
Surprise.
Ah! Oh, a character-breaking scream. Oh, no.
And as you get closer to the stick, Zeko, that mumbling, that constant mumbling that's kind of been winding you up is getting louder and louder. And the rest of the party, you can also hear this kind of enough of it. And they took it away. This gets louder and louder and louder as you kind of spiral down until what you can see, that the voice is behind this thing, but it is an enormous vault. It's a big circular vault. You can see the entire kind of circle, as it were. So it's a cylinder. The top end of a cylinder is a vault, as it were. On the very top is a hatchway, like a handle to rotate to get into the vault. Clearly where this was meant to be, it was meant to be kind of in front of you, but because of the entire geometry of this place has now become twisted and strange, you're now kind of literally standing on it. And because certain things are a cliche, yes, it's painted grey and green, and yes, there is a complicated looking kind of series of handles and locks on the spinny handle. But this is very much a locked door.
Well, the stick doesn't lie, and it says that what we need is behind this very freaky door.
What?
Tarp, is this your kind of area of expertise?
Well, if it isn't, it's jitterbugs. So, one way or another.
This system looks remarkably complicated. You know what isn't complicated? Boom. He's just holding a detonator and throwing it back and forth and admiring as it goes up, but also comes from underneath him. He's having a wild time with physics. Hey, you know how we can see things at 3 different points of reality right now? Imagine what the explosion's gonna look like.
Yeah, that could not be pretty. I suggest what we do is we each take a bolt and try and undo it manually first, so that we can throw any explosives at anything that might come out.
I've got my chainsaw ready for the bolt.
I think this is one of the few times I've been really happy to have Jitterbug with us. No offence, Nate.
So manual release with extreme prejudice.
Okay. I just got a 6, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Fair.
Okay.
Okay.
And that gives us another gambit. Bing.
Okay, so several things happen at once. There are a series of explosions as the bolts open and the vault kind of rotates and open. Suddenly, the area that you're in changes, and as you look round, it feels like you're in this enormous spider's web. So the geography of the place that you're standing in has just shifted until it's a kind of long kind of metal and steel construction. And you get the eerie feeling that indeed this is what it's always actually looked like. The rest of it was an illusion being cast upon your mind. They are the insect-like... The ones that are doing the conga dance are still doing the conga dance, and they're with you. They've all gone, ooh, and looked up and looked down as things have exploded and bolts have gone everywhere. But there are more of them on the outskirts. There's more zombie beetles everywhere. And the hatch pops open. Where are you standing, by the way, when you set the explosives? On the edges? On the actual vault?
Away.
Yeah,
Away
from the explosion, somewhere that seems safe.
I might be wasted, but I'm not stupid.
My guy was on the vault. I mean, he took a chainsaw to a bolt. He was just standing on it.
Okay, so, Jitterbug, you're currently on the ceiling. Can you take 2 stress, please?
Da!
Not a harm?
No, yeah, can you take 1 harm, actually?
Can and I will.
I'm going to say first level harm. So I'm going to say 2 first level harm.
Okay.
It just keeps getting worse.
You have a nosebleed.
Da! It's my nosebleed acting.
And something important has broken, but you're not sure what.
I just don't think she's ever coming back home. I think that section of the relationship is over. But I can't be sure. God damn it.
Wasn't she exploded in a crate?
That was my mother. I can know more than one woman. What's wrong with you?
So many things.
However, as a stroke of luck, you seem to have found yourself in a space where gravity doesn't seem to apply. So you're currently dangling, though you would have to carefully maneuver to get back down. You've been catapulted into a place where essentially two bits of gravity have intersected.
Ah.
So you're kind of like stuck on a ledge of nothing.
Oh, and dripping blood on people. Ugh.
Well, presumably it's just pooling around him.
Yeah, it would just be sort of
yeah.
everywhere. It'd be like a sort of large kind of floaty moustache. Big sort of liquid Salvador Dali-like thing just moving about him.
And you actually get to see the whole, because you see the vault door kind of swing off in the distance. As the rest of the party, you also see it kind of swings open. It is irredeemably open at this point.
Success.
There is a very complicated looking device, 3 of them on either side, and an enormous severed head. It is wearing like a ridiculous gold crown. It has a very long beard, and it just appears to be constantly mouthing something. There is also complicated cables coming off from its crown into the 3 project-like devices.
Is it of a scale with the body we saw?
It is. Well, no, it's not. And you're initially confused, and then you realise that there's a haze around the entire thing, and this is what appears to be a compression field. Now, you've heard of these. You've never seen one in action. This is an enormous head. Like, as you look at it, you realise your eyes don't quite track the distance because you're crossing a barrier, if you see what I mean. So the distance you are away from it is further than the distance that you actually are.
So what you're saying is this big head is actually a really big head.
It's a really, really big head that's been compressed with essentially science. But you can see its lips moving, you can see things going across. And if indeed this thing is worth an absolute fortune.
So, like, how are we going to get this back to the ship?
Well, who here is an expert in compression fields?
Is it you?
No.
Well, damn!
Doc, you're science. Can you make it more compressed so that it will, say, fit in a pocket? I mean, if it's a really big head that's become a big head, maybe we can make it a small head and then just carry it out.
I'm just going to have a... Sorry, Viv, if I can. At this point, Jitterbug has a flashback. They don't call her Dr. Winzip for nothing. He then has a flashback. No, he's never heard that name before. There's just blood pooling under his nose. It's a bit confusing.
You may spend, I'm going to say that's a 1 stress flashback.
Fine.
And to recall the entire conversation about the long and tedious court case that you were involved with when you were used to work for a different corporation.
I have got Doctor Strange as an ability. So my research and fields of study are fringe, esoteric, and focus on the mystical. So I'm used to strange artifacts, and can I argue that because I'm used to strange artifacts like maybe gigantic pyramids and things like that, that compression technology, which enables people to take big structures or big ritual circles and strange esoteric things and compress them into small, easily portable, and on the black market easily hideable and tradable things, means I know a bit about compression technology.
Yes.
Ed, can I supplement Mim's role by, first of all, by burning a stress to give her an extra dice for this, but also by ticking a piece of my gear, which is precursor artifact, which I'm taking to mean any form of weird, ancient, esoteric magitech gubbinry. So, like, I don't know how this works, but I believe that this doodad is a compression field accelerometer, which will magnify the power and help it. I mean, I don't know how it works, but it might be something to work with you, maybe, Doc. And I pass it to the Doc.
That's brilliant.
It's a pre-Black Friday artifact, by which I mean it's a small round cylinder that lights up as you speak. So that's 1 dice for the artifact, that's another dice for the flashback from Jitterbug, and that's 2 dice for your Doctor Strange ability.
Okay. So yeah, I'll tell you what this does. As he's fiddling with the compression unit and comparing it with the compression unit that's being used to already make this a smaller head, what it does is, you know how atoms are mostly empty space? Click, click, click. What it does is, it makes the empty space a bit smaller so that you can fit everything into a tighter space. The urge to say kind of like your mum is really at the tip of my tongue. Alright. Okay, let's give this a try. Everybody stand back unless you want your foot to suddenly be literally an inch.
Oh, I'm putting my helmet back on.
Yeah.
It is impossible for me to stand any further back. Or stand.
Oh yeah, we'll get you in a minute, Jitterbug. Just hang on there.
Keep bleeding.
It's the curse of Mim's dice.
Curse of Mim's dice. 2 3s and 2 1s.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Is this going to get bigger or am I going to get smaller?
So the good news is that you're fairly confident that you've shrunk the head. And you see the head shrinking. And then you see it getting bigger. And then, weirdly, there's a whom, 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 and nothing has happened. No size has changed. Like, it doesn't seem to have had an effect at all.
I should have worked.
Anytime now, Doc.
And I go to kick the machinery.
It's at maximum capacity.
Well, what's it done? If it's working, so it's doing something to something.
And then you suddenly feel a shift as the ship itself seems to be moving.
That's not right.
Alright.
My God, the head's the engine.
I did say that we gotta fire it to the heart of reality.
Could we fire it back to where we need to deliver it?
At the moment, everything just feels like it's shifting, like it's started to move. You're in motion. The friendly Zombeetles aren't moving. The other Zombeetles, however, are now in a ring, and they're all just like generally staring.
Can I double down on this? Because the Doc is quite proud of the fact that he can do stuff and doesn't like to look like a loser. So I'd like to double down and use I'm a doctor, and use my doctor role to try and make this compression unit work again.
Before you do that, Circle,
Yes.
can you roll me 2 dice? One of them is a study. The other one is a bonus from your current circumstances.
Yes, I can. I got a 6 and a 1, Ed.
Okay, I'm going to take both of those. You realise what's happened as you look past Jitterbug to the porthole, and you suddenly realise the stars are larger, and you can see your ship, and your ship is huge.
Oh, okay, so, I think I've worked out what's happened here, and, I've got some good news, bad news scenario. The good news is, Doc, you did indeed shrink the head.
Well, it's not worked though, is it?
And us,
What?
and the ship, we're all pocket-sized, man. Like my toad. Let's get all in my pocket, and I'll carry us out of here.
But isn't your pocket-sized?
All
Yeah.
pockets are pocket-sized. This is the one constant of the universe.
That's really
Huh.
true. We just need to find a big enough pocket to fit us all in.
Jim has big enough pockets. Jim can take this entire piece of nonsense into the cargo bay
Yeah,
and get us back, after which we can hit this thing with hammers until it does us back to where we're properly meant to be. This is good. We can work with this.
yeah.
Alright, I'm going to put my medic hat on, and he does something very strange. He puts out his cigarette, and you've never seen him put out an unfinished cigarette. Problem is, you see, oxygen atoms, you see, and the lungs and how we deal with oxygen. There's going to be a bit of an issue here now. I don't know how to put this into layman's terms. We're going to have trouble with air if we don't do this quickly.
That's all right, I got my helmet on.
Yeah, and the air here has also been shrunk.
If we encounter air that's too big, we can always blow it up. Smaller air atoms.
Break it down.
Break it down.
Okay.
So, are you contacting the Lord Jim to pick you up?
Yes.
Okay. The gravity effect fades. Let's assume that Jitterbug is with everyone else. And the next thing you see...
Ah! Luckily I fell a small distance, because all distances are now small.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, you will.
You see this enormous ship come to pick you up. Then you feel movement as the ship moves. Time passes. More time passes. Jim, does not respond. And several times you see an enormous hand pick you up and move you. To pick you up and move you. And time is strange where you are. And I'm going to close this entire session and close this entire story with a single image of the Smiley Corporation Artifact Museum. And in a cloche, amongst a row of artifacts, is the Heart of Darkness, just waiting there to be picked up by someone else.
Oh.
Well, this isn't how I intended to spend my retirement.
Pew, pew, pew! Explosions are small but enjoyable.
tiny sparks and little wisps of smoke coming on.
Mother, could you at least get me a slice of cucumber for my gin?
Massive slice of cucumber.
Join us next session for Honey, I Shrunk the Cosmos. And on that cosmic bombshell, as the party become yet another artifact in a museum somewhere for maybe another adventure, for another party to encounter, we'll leave it. So it's goodbye from myself, Edward Fortune.
And it's goodbye from me, John Robertson. I don't know if this is just an informal sad goodbye because we're all in a museum, or if I'm meant to start advertising myself. See, it's the credits sequence, in which case John Robertson was dressed by himself this morning, a real accomplishment. And you can find me at www.thejohnrobertson.com and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Robotron, ROBBOTROM. Probably on tour. Buy my book, The Little Town of Marrowville, and that's that.
I'm Adrian Tchaikovsky. My books are to be found where books are to be found. Most recently, my novella Ogres and my novel Eyes of the Void, which is book 2 of The Final Architecture.
Yeah, goodbye from me. I've had a lovely time. Now I'm going to live in a small museum with a rapidly dwindling amount of drugs and alcohol. But I've had a great time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. See you soon.
And it's goodbye from me, and we will see you next time for another slice of one-shot whimsy. Until then, look after yourselves, my lovelies. Remain delightful, stay safe, wear a mask probably still. At this point, who knows? The future is a scary place, and at the point we're recording this, there's yet another variant. And that will probably apply no matter what month this goes out, the way things are going. Mm-hmm. So until then, get vaccinated, wear a mask, remain delightful, and we will see you all next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for this season is Unholy Night by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. If you like the show and want to interact with us, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, all of which are at Force Majeure Pod, though Twitter is probably where you're going to find us more regularly. If you enjoy what we do and want to support the show, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is via our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. The second is by buying us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod. And the third way is by rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere where you can find us. We really like reviews. It tells us that we're telling the stories that you want to hear and helps other people find us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.